think we've resolved. Can you hear? So I was saying that Mr. Smith appeared before a parole panel last week on August 7th for a revocation decision. And at that time, that panel voted to terminate Mr. Smith unsatisfactorily because it appeared at that time that his full term date had passed. That was an error on the time calculation. And so that decision was rescinded August the 11th based on the error in the time calculation. So that's why we're here today, is to reconsider the revocation process.
Yes,
so you have retained counsel this morning, Mr. Smith. So I'm just going to turn it over to Ms. LeDoux so you can enter your plea. And then we'd like to hear from your lawyer and further discussion before we make a decision. Mrs. LeDoux.
Mr. Smith, you were alleged to have violated your condition of parole. Condition number 4, you engaged in criminal conduct when you committed the offense of domestic abuse battery, as evidenced by your arrest by New Orleans Police Department on or about April 29, 2025. On May 29th, the district attorney's office refused the domestic abuse battery charges. How do you plead to this?
Not guilty, ma'am.
Okay, so to clarify, you were arrested for those charges and you're pleading not guilty to the action that precipitated that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Righty. Would you like your attorney to make a statement on your behalf? Or would you like to make a statement and explain what happened at that time?
Yes, some misunderstanding. And
one moment, please. Eric, they asked you 2 questions. They asked if you want me to speak, make a statement on your behalf, or if you want to make a statement on your own behalf. So what are you choosing to do, Eric?
well, you can speak.
Okay. So at this time, I'll go ahead on and make the record. And for clarity, would you all like me to address the incident that precipitated, or would you prefer additional information?
Whatever you see fit that will enlighten our decision making.
Thank you. Well, I want to begin with what I believe Eric represents. I believe Eric represents a Department of Corrections success story because Eric demonstrates or exhibits successful rehabilitation. Eric was paroled on December 8th, 2024. He checked in for the first time with his parole officer on December 10th. In early January, about a month after checking in, after having not been able to find a job, Eric enrolled in school at the Deep South Center for Environmental Justice so that he can obtain certifications to become an environmental worker. This is an intensive 12-week program, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eric successfully completed the program. His counselor there at Deep South Center for Environmental Justice advised me that they had emailed in a letter of support for Eric, and I'm not certain if you've received it. I have a copy of the letter, and it is a glowing letter. It says that Eric embraced the challenge of the program. He demonstrated hard work, integrity. He was responsible. He was accountable. And he, by all accounts, he's an exemplary student. He completed this program in April and began the job search. The Deep South Center for Environmental Justice started lining up jobs for him, and he started doing interviews. Eric went to do a background check for an apartment and a potential job, and then it was found that there was this arrest warrant in place for him. Eric presently has job prospects lined up in the pipeline, according to the Deep South Center for Environmental Justice. They have also secured funding for Eric to have housing. The TCA, Total Community Action, has committed to make a deposit as well as up to 3 months rent for Eric as he gets on his feet. And he also has strong family and community support. Now, regarding this incident of his arrest that caused his parole to come up for possible revocation, is there's an incident with the lady that he's in a relationship with, a romantic relationship with. She found pictures of another lady on Eric's phone and became angry. And the lady on the phone resembled the lady who lived next door to the lady, to Miss Cyprian, who Eric was in a romantic relationship with. And she, that angered her. According to my client, she threatened to call the police on him because she knew he was on parole and it would possibly get him in some trouble. When I met with Eric to discuss our defense for this matter, Eric asked me in no unclear terms not to paint her in a bad light, not to make her out to be a bad person. Eric understands that Miss Cyprian has some mental health challenges that sort of causes this type of behavior from her. But he knows that she's not a bad person. So in his heart, he doesn't even want me, his lawyer, who's fighting for his life, to paint Miss Cyprian in a poor light. If you all looked at the body cam video of this incident of, when the police came out to take the report from Miss Cyprian, there were two videos. One was like 20-something minutes in length, but the longer one is 34 minutes and 22 seconds. If you look at the 32-minute and 30-second mark, the officer notes to his supervisor that Miss Cyprian was not very cooperative and didn't really want to participate, even though she was the one who called the police. And then around the 33-minute and 10-second mark, he notes that she told him Eric punched her, but on that video at the 33-minute, 10-second mark, he says, "I do not see anything from a punch." Now, that differs from his report, where he wrote that he observed a bruise as a result of Eric Smith punching her. And he stated that he showed a video of it. But we have two different accounts. His body cam video says one thing in real time when he was first taking his report, and his report says another thing. Ms. Cyprian has not cooperated from the day she made this report all the way through May 29th, from at the time when the district attorney's office refused these charges. I want to suggest to this honorable board that it would be unjust to deprive this man of his liberty on the account, on an uncorroborated account of a witness that is no longer cooperating and appeared to not want to even corroborate at the time of the report. I'm asking this board to follow the decision, or not follow, but recognize that the original panel that heard this account, that conducted this hearing, voted unanimously not to revoke my client. And I'm asking that this panel do the exact same thing.
Thank you, Mr. Bello. Are there any questions of Mr. Bello?
No.
I would like to take a moment to review the video the second video that Mr. Bello referred to at the 32-minute, 30-second, and 33-minute, 10-second point. So stand by, Mr. Bello. We're going to go off record for a moment to do that, and we'll be right back with you. Right, thank you for giving us the time to review the video. We appreciate it. Mr. Bello, you mentioned that there was a letter from the Deep South Environmental, whatever, letter of support. We'd like you to send that over to us. I don't see it included in the record that we have today.
Okay.
So, I think at this time, though, Mr. Smith, the panel is prepared to vote, and Mrs. Ledoux will be voting first.
Mr. Smith, I think you made a very poor choice when you decided to live in what I would consider an unstable relationship. That wasn't a wise choice, in my opinion. However, I don't see clear and compelling evidence of injury. My vote is going to be to not revoke, to continue on parole, that you have to have a curfew from 10 to 5. I don't think they're doing environmental things at night. You need to have a stable housing situation. Okay. And no contact with the victim and the crime, the Cyprian. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You agree with those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Barrow.
I'm going to concur with Ms. Ledoux, but also add a condition of anger management evaluation.
Okay. And I do agree, based on the information that we received today, my vote is the same. Do not revoke those special added conditions. Good luck to you, Mr. Smith. Thank you, Mr. Bello.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
I'm going to sign off at 9:23 for morning. Committee on Parole is reconvening. It's 9:33 a.m. on August 13th, 2025. My name is Cheryl Renato, serving as chair of today's parole panel. And our remote location at this time is at Allen Correctional Center. Good morning, Warden. Would you and your staff introduce yourself?
Good morning. Keith Cooley, Facility Warden.
Crystal Simon, Assistant Warden.
Jessica Manual Classifications. Kathy Manuel as a supporter.
All right, thank y'all. Thanks for having us today. And we have Mr. Dagel. Mr. Dagel, would you introduce yourself to the panel?
Good morning. My name is Darren Dagel, DOC 451360.
And we have here with us in Baton Rouge your attorney. Would you introduce yourself for the record, please? You can just.
Okay, like a slow, we'll be down.
And your brother Jason is also here with us in Baton Rouge this morning.
There's brother.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And you see on Zoom, we have the Parole Project, Mr. Kerry Myers, and Jeremy, another brother, is on Zoom. And so we also have some opposition representing, we have Miss April Jones and Susan Wanage. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name, who are here on Zoom in opposition. First, Mr. Dagel, you've been through the process before, so you kind of know how it works. It may be a little different this time. I'm going to read the identifying information into the record, and then we'd like to hear your statement.
Yes, ma'am.
What it is, that you did for the record, and, why do you think we ought to vote favorably for you today? We'll hear from the warden, and then we'll turn it over, and for those who want to speak in behalf, and we'll let Ms. Sloan close it out for us.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Dagel, you are classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a 32-year sentence in Calcasieu Parish in March of 2002 for second-degree kidnapping. You received a 32-year sentence, and attempted manslaughter. That was a 20-year sentence, and those are running concurrently. Your parole eligibility date was March 25th, 2025, and your good time date has been adjusted to June 5th, 2027. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Right. So we'd like to hear your statement.
Yes, ma'am. The fact of the matter in my case is plain. I went to the victim's place of employment regretfully and wrongfully. I was armed with a dangerous weapon, and I did in fact commit the offense of attempted manslaughter by choking the victim with an electrical cord. Secondly, I did also in fact commit the offense of second-degree kidnapping when I held the victim against her own free will while armed with this dangerous weapon during the commission of a crime. And last but not least, I did in fact commit the offense of simple battery upon a second victim who was a co-worker of the first victim. She tried to intervene in the situation and she was accidentally hit with the weapon. My actions and my crime was a total stupidity and selfishness. It was downright senseless, and I'm still ashamed of it. And I do want to be clear, if I may, ladies and gentlemen, about acts and the crimes of violence must never be tolerated or accepted in our society. There's simply no place for it. I would like to add that over the last 25 years, I still can't come with the words to express the sorrow, regret, remorse, and the most sincerest and deepest apologies for my actions and for my crime and what it did to the victims physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, the list goes on. And I want this Honorable Committee on Parole to also recognize that I'm fully aware of the magnitude and the severity of my actions and the domino-like effect and the ripple effect that it caused on many others. Even my family were innocent victims due to my stupidity and selfishness, and my community. It's safe to say I failed a lot of people. And I would just like to ask the board to look at the computer screen at those in attendance today, whether in opposition or in favor. Look closely at the people involved in it as well as the people before you today. This is not even 10% of the lives that Derek Dagel damaged, ruined, and destroyed or tore apart due to the trail of destruction as in my crime. And what's worse and just as sickening is 25 years later, the aftermath has been just as difficult to watch. And I want to put it bluntly, and excuse my French, I'm not going to go all board, but I was a blank and you know what for doing what I did. And that's all I have for that particular question, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Well, you prepared well for that.
It's just from the heart.
Warden, what can you tell us about Mr. Dagel?
Mr. Rodotz, I'll just speak to his incarceration. As Derek indicated, he's been here since actually 2002. He's done most of his time here at Allen. During that time, he's been no significant disciplinary problems to us at all. Back in 2004, early on in his incarceration, he did have one minor disciplinary report for aggravated disobedience. He's been active in programs since his time here, completing everything required. You know, and like I said, he's done his sentence well. I can say that on behalf of inmate Dagel.
Thank you, sir. Can we hear from Mr. Myers, the Parole Project, please?
Yes, good morning. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. We're here to let the board know that we've accepted Derek Dagel as our client. Derek acting to our attention about 4 years ago through multiple people, through family, through supporters, through state officials, through multiple people because of Derek. Because Derek today, the person before you today, there's a significant difference between the 20-year-old man in crisis 25 years ago and the person who Derek actually is. Derek is a true first offender. He committed a crime. There's a distinct difference between someone whose actions were criminal and someone who has criminal mentality. Derek obviously does not have criminal mentality. He served more than 25 years, or right at 25 years of his sentence, which is about 3/4 of his sentence. Parole Project is prepared to support Derek through his transition, through whatever conditions the board determines. He is also, as you've seen, when Derek started his rehabilitation, upon his incarceration, long before Derek thought or there was any chance that Derek would be parole eligible. we're prepared to work with Derek for his, again, for as long or whatever conditions this board would set forth. Derek has no intentions of ever residing in Calcasieu Parish again. He will work with our social work staff immediately upon release to get another evaluation. While he does have offers of employment, Derek will also work with our employment enhancement team to make sure he has gainful employment. And we would just ask this board to consider Derek's extensive record of accomplishments while he was in prison, his essentially lack of disciplinary problems, his own remorse. And Derek is prepared. Derek has prepared himself for this day. He's recognized his actions. He's prepared himself. And so we'd ask this board to grant his parole.
All right, thank you. Thank you. We'll hear from Mr. Jason Dagel. Jason?
You know, there's not a lot of questions. I mean, everything that I've kind of been wondering about have been addressed during the course of this hearing. I'd like for you, if you don't mind, it's not confidential. I'd like for you to state the names of your victims. I want to make sure you know the names.
Yes, ma'am. They're April Jones and they were Catherine Wanage. The long list of others that were in the story, Miss Revocation, Miss Herbert or Abear. That was the ones I know for sure that I can recall that were in the story. I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. But April Jones and Miss Catherine Wanage were the primary victims, ma'am.
You referred to them as the victims, the victims. I just want to make sure that, you know, you understand who your victims were. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, you have some law enforcement opposition.
Yes, ma'am.
And you do have some victim opposition
Yes, ma'am.
to your crime. You do have a good time date of 2027.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have earned 495 good time days.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Is that the max for him, Ward?
It is. Yes, yes, it is, Ms. Ledoux.
It's the max. So you've done everything. You've maxed out on all of your classes, and you're still taking classes even though you don't earn good time.
Yes, ma'am. The max was 360 under Act 1099. I've been at 495 for maybe since 21 or 22. And I'm currently in a couple of classes now. One of you can get good time, but I do, since you asked the question, I do want to elaborate on something. The good time matters not if you're not willing to change and be the man that you need to be. And that requires it to be a lifestyle. I mean, change and rehabilitation are just words. If there's no action behind it, it doesn't mean anything. And regardless of good time or not, I've wanted my actions since the date of my crime. Regardless of what credit I'm given, I wanted it to reflect my prison record and the evidence of change. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you letting me answer your question.
I would offer my colleagues an opportunity to ask questions and then request to go into executive. They indicated they didn't.
Mr. Myers said that you had no plans on going back to Calcasieu Parish. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. And I would like to tell you why, if you have a moment. I think a peaceful resolution to the eventual fact is I'm getting released from prison, obviously. But the most important thing is for the peace of the victim and their families. Listen, I've caused more harm and irreparable harm than I would have ever imagined, thought possible. The easiest way is to, I feel like, sacrifice. And I put the victims first. I really do, because this whole case is about them and my actions and what it did to them. So to relocate 2.5 hours away, I hope that that would give them peace and comfort and security and ease any fear that they may have, because I'm certainly not a threat and I want to be able to approve it. And it also gives me the chance to start fresh, sir.
So would you agree to that being a lifetime thing or just the end of your parole thing? How do you feel about that?
Sir, whatever this board seems fit, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make amends for my crime. If that makes the victims and their families comfortable, then honestly, I'll do it. It's not even a question. If
Okay.
that's what you take comfort in, yes, sir.
Thank you.
So, let me just ask, I have one question, Mr. Dagel. I think in reviewing the record, at the time of this offense, you suffered some kind of mental health crisis.
Yes, ma'am.
And so do you currently see mental health?
I haven't in the last 25 years, Ms. Renata. Recently, I mean, I'm always transparent. With the death of my brother, mental health, unrelated to anything else, they did call and interview me about that. Just ask questions that they would do with any other individual, which I truly respected and I appreciated. But again, I want to back off of, yes, there was a mental health issue I was going on at the time, but I would never sit before you and make excuses as to the stupidity and selfish act that I committed. Taking responsibility and owning it and being accountable and changing that. And prison has taught me, and I would love to say this, please let me say this. If it wasn't for the Department of Corrections and the Allen Correctional Center administration, staff, and security, I probably wouldn't be sitting before you today. These people have single-handedly, aside from God and family, these people have single-handedly not only changed, but they saved the life of Derek Dagel due to, there was one constant thing when I woke up each day inside these walls. I was provided with the opportunity to make amends and the opportunity to rehabilitate and change. And if it wasn't for these people, these good people that went above and beyond their job, the Department of Corrections, I wouldn't be here. So thank you for sending me to prison, because that's what I needed. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, I don't see any other questions, Mr. Dagel. Is the panel prepared to vote?
I think I'm prepared to
Mrs.
vote.
Ledoux.
Mr. Dagel, my vote today is to grant parole to the Parole Project for a period of no longer than 3 months to get yourself on your feet, get some stability, and then to your residence plan with your brother. I would like to stipulate on the record that you are not to live in Calcasieu Parish.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not a healthy thing to do, and have no contact with your victims.
Yes, ma'am.
Family. No
Yes, ma'am.
contact. Thank you.
Mr. Myra.
I'm going to concur with Ms. Ledoux, but I'm going to up that parole project stay for 6 months. I need you to stay a minimum of 6 months. And during that time, I want you to get a mental health evaluation and follow up on any recommendations for treatment. You've been through a lot yourself. And that you do not go to Lake Charles, as you said, for the rest of your life.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Dagel, I've seen you before in another setting, but I do agree with my colleagues today based on what we've heard today, what the warden and the staff and the Oasis Project has said about you. I think you've demonstrated sincere remorse, and I like the idea that you're going to be on supervision for a little while before you complete your sentence. So this does not reduce your sentence, but we're just going to let you out in the community for a while.
I would say that somebody needs to bring him a surf and turf from Daryl's. If he cannot go back to Calcasieu Parish, that would be.
All right, good luck, Mr. Dagel.
Thank you, Committee on Parole. Thank you, and God bless.
And Warden, that concludes our business at Allen. We're going to sign off. It's 10:04. Thank you. All right. Good morning.
And how you doing?
Good, thank you. We are reconvening, the Committee on Parole is reconvening. We're at the Southwest Correctional Center. Would any staff there, you have some staff in the room with you, sir?
Yes, ma'am. She's right here.
Yes, ma'am. Cheryl Cook.
All right, Ms. Cook, thank you for accommodating us this morning. And Christopher, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Okay, my name is Christopher E. Granado, 729056.
All right, Mr. Granado, let me just read some identifying information into the record, sir. You're classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a 40-year sentence for drug racketeering. You were sentenced in Vernon Parish in February 2018. Your parole eligibility date is February 10th of 2026. Your mandatory release date is February 14, 2029.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Sounds correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us, sir, why you're in jail and why do you think we ought to vote to release you early?
Well, I just, I know what I did was wrong. And I'm so sorry for everything I did, you know. It's just, I missed out on my kids. My nephew died. My brother's having a stroke. They really need me out there. Everybody, my sister, they're in bad shape. Everybody's just struggling. You hear me?
Okay. Well, we're gonna be asking you some questions, but let me see if does the staff have anything to say about Mr. Granado?
No, ma'am.
He's done good here. I mean, he has worked. He's never had a write up. He is, as far as a good inmate, what I'm saying. Never done anything wrong. We don't have any bad reports or anything on him.
Good. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Granado, how many people were involved in the drug trafficking system you had going?
I mean, at least 1, 2, Russell. Oh, Russell. I believe so 5. It was
Okay.
me out there, me, police, about 5 people.
And where are those co-defendants still incarcerated?
I believe so. My sister-in-law, she's serving time still.
Yeah.
I think they went home and they got in trouble and came back.
Yeah. Were you born in New Mexico?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Where were you born?
In New Mexico, Artesia, New Mexico, 88. The zip code 88210.
In there. Have you had pre-release?
I took every classes y'all have. Whatever they got to offer me, I took everything.
Ms. Cook, do you have his records with you?
I don't have all of his classes. I know he took a lot of the classes that we offer, but I don't think he's had the pre-release.
I show we have had pre-release. Have you had your GED? Do you have a GED?
Yes, ma'am. I got a high school diploma out there in the world.
It said you had a 6th grade. You said
Yeah,
6th grade.
it was the 6th grade level. That's what I went to right there. And then I went to class over here. And David Wade, I went to school and then they transferred me over here. I didn't get it finished at all. I didn't get that.
So you don't have a GED.
No.
You have not finished 12 years of school.
No, I haven't. I was at the time I was doing it, and then I got transferred over here to D.
Okay.
TWP.
Right. How you had a 40-year sentence? How many months? How many years have you served?
Almost 10 years.
10 of 40. Okay. All right, I have no further questions.
Mr. Bauer?
No question.
I don't have any questions. Mr. Granado, that concludes our interview. I think we're ready to vote. Mrs. Ledoux.
Mr. Granado, I read extensively about the volume of drugs that came into the area at your hands. You've only served at 1040. So for the lack of time served, you haven't completed your necessary programming. My vote is to deny today.
Mr. Bauer.
I concur with Ms. Ledoux for the same reason, that not enough time served.
And I do agree, Mr. Granado, based on the insufficient time. So my vote today also is to deny. So today your parole's been denied, sir. Good luck. And that concludes our business at your facility. We're
All
going
right,
to sign
let's
off
talk
at
about that.
10:16.
This Louisiana Parole panel hearing had a little bit of everything: a procedural cleanup, some pointed legal advocacy, heartfelt testimony, and the full range of outcomes. First up was Eric Smith, whose case had already gone through some administrative whiplash. A prior panel mistakenly thought his sentence had expired, revoked him, then had to walk that back when the time calculation error surfaced. This time around, Mr. Smith came with counsel, and his attorney, Mr. Bello, came well prepared. He painted a picture of Smith as a rehabilitation success story, completing an environmental training program, earning glowing recommendations from instructors, lining up housing support, and getting close to stable employment. The alleged violation was a domestic dispute that resulted in an arrest, but not a prosecution. The DA dropped the charge, and the defense leaned heavily on inconsistencies in the body cam footage compared to the officer's written report. What stood out, though, was Smith himself, quiet, deferential, and even protective of the complainant, asking his lawyer not to disparage her despite their conflict. The board was not blind to the poor judgment in choosing an unstable relationship, but they didn't find clear, compelling evidence to justify revocation. Instead, they continued him on parole with new conditions: curfew, no contact with the victim, stable housing, and an anger management evaluation. It was firm, but fair. The kind of middle ground you see when the panel wants accountability without overreach. Then the mood shifted with the parole application of Derek Dagel. And this one was heavy. Dagel has served over 20 years on convictions for second-degree kidnapping and attempted manslaughter, serious offenses by any measure. His statement was long, prepared, but also raw and personal. He admitted everything, called himself selfish and stupid at the time, and expressed deep remorse for the harm caused to multiple victims. He even went out of his way to thank the Department of Corrections for giving him the structure that forced him to change. A sentiment you don't hear every day. The warden backed him up with a clean record, only one minor write-up way back in 2004, and program completions stacked high. The Parole Project vouched for him, ready to provide housing, supervision, and job support. Victim opposition was present and acknowledged, but the panel pressed him on accountability, mental health, and whether he was willing to avoid Calcasieu Parish permanently. To his credit, Dagel said yes without hesitation, framing it as a way to give victims peace. In the end, the board granted parole with conditions: supervision through the Parole Project, 6 months minimum, a mental health evaluation, and permanent relocation away from the victim's community. You could feel the weight of that decision. They weren't excusing the past, but they were acknowledging the years of discipline and rehabilitation since. Finally, we had Christopher Granado serving a 40-year sentence for a large-scale trafficking conviction. Unlike the prior cases, this one was straightforward. He served about 10 years, had some clean institutional conduct, and expressed remorse, but the time served just wasn't close to what the board viewed as sufficient. He hadn't completed all required programs, lacked a GED, and his explanation of co-defendants and circumstances was a little muddled. The staff vouched for his good behavior, but the board unanimously denied parole, citing insufficient time served and incomplete preparation. It was calm, professional, and frankly predictable, given the magnitude of his case and the relatively short stretch he served. Overall, the panel managed a wide spectrum of cases with consistency: cautious compassion for Smith, carefully conditional mercy for Dagel, and firm denial for Granado. The judges were patient, thorough and respectful, even when probing into tough details like victim names or mental health history. The atmosphere stayed steady throughout, and while the subject matter ranged from emotional to procedural, the panel's measured approach gave each case the gravity it deserved. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one.